Alright, hello, and welcome back to the Distract3d Podcast.
Achoo!
I am your host, Finn, with my co-host, person.
Hello, I am also your host, Blake.
Hi, I like Hostess pastries as well. I am Tristan.
Hostess pay. Can we get them to sponsor us instead of Doritos?
Man,
Like,
Let's do it.
that would be... Like, okay, if you were to have one of those for free, right?
Oh, by the way, this is our topic for today.
This is not the topic, but this is the point.
sponsor.
This is the point of the podcast: is distractions. Not sponsored by either of those.
You know,
but
we're
if
actually complete sellouts, and we're just waiting for our first opportunity to grab money.
yeah, we're preparing ourselves.
Hey, that actually is related to our topic.
It is a
Anyway,
bit,
continue.
but like, serious question: would you rather have Doritos for free or like Hostess cakes?
Doritos.
Bro,
'Cause
Hostess cakes all the way, dude.
Hostess cakes are like the Little Debbie ones, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so ready to just...
You
I was
know
about to
how
say
many
it's
flavors
bad,
of Doritos
you
there
know?
are?
More
This
like,
is true.
More like
There are a lot of
8.
flavors of Doritos. I think, right? There's like normal, spicy, cool ranch. That's all I got.
Yeah, there's like sweet spicy chili. By the way, we're a gaming channel.
This is a gaming podcast. That's why we're talking about Doritos. Doritos and Mountain Dew, dude. Dude.
Dude.
Of course, you don't like Mountain Dew anymore, do you, Tristan? After the chaos that was the Sour Patch Kid Mountain Dew disaster.
We do not speak of this.
No, we do speak of this.
Wait,
Let's talk about
Speaking of,
it.
I want to speak about it.
Okay, so, like,
Okay,
I don't
this
think...
fool and his brother decided...
No. This was your brother's idea.
I guess this was Aiden's idea. But
No, this was KJ and Aiden's idea. This was both
no,
of them
KJ
combined.
did it afterwards.
No, they were in
Good.
cahoots on
You
this.
said you encouraged them. You said it might be good. I said no from the.
I'm
You said it might taste
fairly
good.
Okay,
certain.
so getting to
Anyway,
the point.
No.
of this discussion-
No. We're doing this
They
topic.
threw freaking Sour Patch Kids in
Cup of
Mountain Dew, and thought it would be a good idea, and it made like this thick.
Well, because
disgusting-
Aiden,
it was horrible.
Aiden left his. He didn't drink it,
Yeah, he let it sit overnight.
and it was
took me, like-
so
It
gross.
took me like literally about 10 minutes to get that out of my cup.
That's right.
It
I
was insane.
remember that. Because you were like, dude, that was no bueno. That was
Okay,
no good.
Gross.
Now that we've demonstrated the distracted part of our podcast, let's get back to the main topic.
Can we not just? I kind of want to just talk about Doritos and Hostess cakes now.
That's not what the channel's about.
It's not what this is about. Well, it's
Gosh,
a variety.
Come on.
It's variety.
So-
anyways, you may notice that today's gameplay is Blake's top 10 number 1 game of all time. And that is due to the fact that today we're going to talk about the content and the DLC and games as a service and all that fun jazz. Yeah. There, you happy?
Yes.
We got on topic now.
About time.
About time.
We are on the topic.
Yeah, we made it to the topic, which I think it, like, with... Isn't it weird, though, how this, like, all the games as a service stuff came from essentially indie developers and their early access of their games is really where it came from when you think about it, you know?
Is where what came from?
Well, the games as a service and giving content over
okay,
time.
gotcha. That
It
makes
like
sense.
really
Okay, yeah.
sparked up after indie developers became a bigger thing and started putting out things in like early access, and people would pay and play the game early, and they would update the game, fix the game, and that's kind of where it came from. At least that's my opinion on where it came from, which once again, humble beginnings leading to money grabbing later.
Where
Well,
did
they
it come
have
from?
to.
Where did it go? Where did it come from?
Well, no, it doesn't have to. You're
Oh,
right.
where did you go now?
So
Sound like you were doing "Come With Me Now" by the Congos. Come with
three
me
different
now.
songs were just sung there.
I know. It's great.
Anyway, so okay. So I don't know. I'm not sure where it came from. I'm sure you can.
I'm assuming that's where it came from,
out.
just because that's a logical place.
But the general idea of what you were
were you expecting me to continue this?
Well, I'm trying to figure out if you were talking about. I was honestly kind of trying to figure out where you were going with what you were saying.
I was going with like games as a service and like giving content over time.
Okay.
Like, because for example, I'm not going to talk about MMOs yet because that's a little bit of a different thing. Because those have always kind of been a games as a service thing where they update over time.
So what you're saying is that basically you believe that games as a service content over time. You're saying that you think that's maybe come possibly mods.
No, from indie developers. Like whenever I'm trying to think of a game you've played that's early access. I mean, Blake and I both played Deep Rock. That's in early access technically.
Yeah.
And they update it with content, which I don't know if you saw the new patch that came out.
I haven't seen the new update yet.
You can customize your pickaxe now.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you have to find these like miner remains in
That's kind of cool.
in the
That's kinda
expeditions.
Hey, that sounds like a minor add-on to me.
Oh my gosh, you
Cool.
need to leave.
You need to go. You need to leave the room.
Can we fire him? Can we hire someone else?
Oh,
Boy,
can we like,
I'm
we
control of
guess
the payroll, so we're getting all $0 per year. So
I know we're still not strong.
until we get that sponsorship from Little Debbie's Cakes
and also Doritos.
And Doritos.
and Doritos, maybe both. What about Doritos in Little Debbie's Cakes?
Did you say Little Debbie's Cakes?
Made of Doritos.
Oh no! Stop it right there.
Between two Doritos.
Oh.
So,
Like
I don't know. I mean,
no. What in your sane mind would tell you that's a good idea?
Because it got the reaction I wanted from you. So boom, it worked. Anyway, back on topic.
But back on topic. What I'm trying to think of early access games you played.
I feel like what you just said, how it originated from indie developers. I feel like that's kind of a general statement because
it is a general statement, but
lots of things often develop because of indie developers. You start to see, and oftentimes we don't realize, developments in games until the big boys pick it up and everybody, they start making a big deal out of it.
Well, I mean, like you've played, because when it comes to indie games in particular, when those come out first, they're not finished. They're not fully fleshed out. Right.
Well, yeah, because they're just testing out the basic product. And
yeah, like Minecraft. Minecraft was an indie game at first, and it didn't have much when it came out. It was not, by standards and by definition, a fully fledged game. It was. It was a test.
I played Minecraft like when it first came out.
I did not.
I played one of the alpha versions. It was really weird.
I did not play the alpha because I didn't know what it was at the time.
It was really weird.
But yeah, like, I'm saying, take that compared to where it is now, and it's become a fully fledged game now, at this point in time. Whereas before, it was not. And that's kind of become a thing that has, like Anthem, for example, because that's the big one that everyone's like, aha, this is what we were afraid of. Was when that came out, and still kind of is, there isn't much there in terms of content. It's pretty flippin', yeah, it's bare bones.
Putting this in terms of like pay-to-play content, like DLCs and stuff like that, you could argue that if a game's base content isn't good enough, people aren't going to be willing to actually pay money for any DLCs or anything like that.
Right.
But then again, maybe it's the idea that the the pay-to-play and the DLCs, maybe that payment is what ensures that they continue to develop the game and work on it.
That's the idea, and I'm okay with DLC as a whole because it's like because they're still working on the game, obviously, and they still require getting paid.
Well, like, here's my thing. When I boot up a game, if the base game is good enough, then I'm gonna want to play more, right?
Because you started playing XCOM 2, right?
Yeah, I just started playing it very recently.
Did you get the War of the Chosen expansion?
No, I haven't gotten any expansions yet because I'm still deciding whether or not I like the base game.
Well,
I like the combat system, but I'm still a bit overwhelmed by all the other aspects of it.
There's so much I love that game. It's coming to Switch.
Yeah, so I'm taking a bit more time to decide whether or not I want to shell out more money for that game.
Right.
Which is what I think. Well, this is what I see as responsible. It's like, as a person who plays video games, you essentially decide whether or not a company succeeds or fails. So
exactly. It's like
you need to actually be a judge for yourself of whether or not a DLC expansion or anything like that is worth it based on what you already know.
Exactly.
So, and here's where I have an issue with that kind of. So like Destiny 2,
right.
They have a lot of great expansions. They do.
Of course.
And whenever the Forsaken DLC came out, that's when I hopped in. That was really, really big, and
that was
I
Taken
loved the
King.
content. That was probably their best DLC yet. If I were to,
I think everyone agrees Forsaken has been the greatest expansion to a Destiny game since Taken King.
Yeah.
Because Taken King was huge and massive and awesome.
But here's where I have an issue with this, and I've kind of discussed this. The people who play, the people who have already paid for the game.
I think you're getting into the MMO portion of this, like, service thing.
But this is also content, though.
It is content, but you
guys were also talking about service, though. So
okay, we'll swap over to that area then.
I mean, it doesn't have to be. It can be fluid. But anyway, what I was saying is so basically Destiny 2. A lot of people bought the base game, and then they bought each DLC that came after that. I came in at Forsaken, and it came with the base game. The Forsaken expansion came with the base game. And I think it was actually a little bit more to buy the base game and the expansion than just to buy the expansion. But then I noticed later on, after I had been playing for a while, the next DLC came out,
Shadowkeep,
and the problem is that it was the same price whether or not you bought the other DLCs and the base game, and that I don't like that because that was like $30 shoveled out for just one DLC, and I felt like even though I had hopped in during Forsaken, I still paid for the base game and Forsaken, but whenever I had to pay for that DLC, I felt like I was being money grabbed because the people who are jumping in at this point, they have to pay the same price as me. I feel like if you really care about your players and you want them to stick with the game and the content that you're putting out, I feel like you should try to work with them. So Finn has been playing longer than I, so I feel like he should have gotten a discount on Forsaken. And I think I think that the people who already had no, I'm talking about Forsaken. I think whoever already had the base game before Forsaken got a discount on Forsaken. I think they only had to pay like 15 to 20, whereas if you're buying the base game with it, it was like 30, 35, something like that. I can't remember exactly right now. But whenever Shadowkeep came out, Finn and I, who had been playing for a few months, at that point, and
I've been
Finn
playing
had
for
been
over a
playing
year.
longer. Yeah, we still had to pay the same amount as somebody who's hopping in at Shadowkeep, and I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like if you have dedicated players who have already put so much money into your game, I feel like to keep them happy and to keep them around, you would want to, say, hey, pay just this amount just for the DLC, and then to those who are hopping in at the DLC point, say, hey, pay an extra $10 to $20 for the rest of the game that these guys have already spent, $30 to $60 on, I just feel like it's weird for them to not have done that. And I know there was a lot of weird stuff with them transitioning from
to Steam, yeah. Well, also you have to keep in mind they were making the base game free to play at that point. And so it was kind of more of a business move to be like, hey, the base game doesn't have much, because Destiny 2's base game does not have much, which goes into the issue of the lack of content when a game starts out. But here's all of this other stuff that you can get to play with your friends.
But still, even at that point, we had paid for Forsaken and, all the other DLCs, but they didn't have to pay for that. They just had to pay for the one payment, just like us, but we had already put so much money into Destiny 2 already. So even if it was just, because base game was free, well, there's still all the other DLCs that we had already paid for that they didn't pay for,
Yeah. And, I understand, the loyalty thing. But at the same time, I don't know how difficult that is for, development and stuff, in terms of how hard it would be to be like, okay, this person does have the expansion, this person doesn't. Do we want to do this? Do we want to do that?
Well, I mean, you see all kinds of other games do it where, you can buy the DLC, but if you go and buy the DLC to a game that you don't have on Steam, it doesn't work. So, they could have added an option to just buy the DLC for Shadowkeep, That would have been a hard move.
Well, that's all that there was on Steam when they first started, was having the Shadowkeep, because that's all there was to go with.
But it came with all the other content, though. It wasn't just the DLC for Shadowkeep. It was the DLC for Shadowkeep, but it came with all the other content.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like we were paying for the same content again, and then, because really, a DLC shouldn't be more than $10-15. Even if you're making a
I don't agree
DLC.
with that statement. I don't agree with that last statement. Because you have to keep in mind how much work goes into them. Because, War of the Chosen for XCOM 2 is not a $10-15 expansion. That was a $30-40, one of those numbers. And that was because it had a lot of stuff in it. Because you can't just be like, oh, hey, I think it should be this low amount when they put in this much work, and they do have to keep their company afloat. That's how it works.
Yeah, and that's why you have to that's why you have to separate the game itself from the business side of what a gaming.
Exactly, because there's so much.
Yes, you can love making good games. At the end of the day, it's a business.
Yeah, and you require...
I understand that, but at the same time, they're making money from buying the silver in game. So, the cosmetics, I think that's a great way to make money.
That's a different topic from just expansions. That's talking about microtransactions, which are dumb and stupid, and no one likes those.
But if it's for honestly, if it's for cosmetics, it doesn't affect the game. But
no, it doesn't affect the game, which is fine.
I'm a lot more cool with cosmetic in-game purchases than what let's say what Hearthstone does, where you have to pay for card packs and stuff like that to actually stay on top of what the current meta is.
I hate that.
Yeah.
That's why I don't play Hearthstone.
Even there, you can both agree there's a very distinct difference between just buying stuff because it's fun and like it doesn't really impact like your experience of the game. And then stuff, it's like if you're not paying money consistently, your gaming experience is going to be very different.
Yeah. Also, stupid thing about Hearthstone is you not only have to get the packs, you have to get the expansions for it, for like the single player stuff, which gives you some of those cards, which is dumb. Make it one or the other.
Speaking of one or the other, and dumb, and payments and DLC and such, I personally really do not like the way that World of Warcraft works.
Oh, I don't know.
I can understand where you come from there.
Because I come from that same place.
And, I mean, and you can... It's not just World of Warcraft. You can throw in Star Wars, The Old Republic. That kind of a thing where you have to not only pay for the base game and continue to make payments on it, like monthly payments,
and then you
also have to pay for each DLC, each new bit of content. It's ridiculous.
I get it. Servers are expensive to run, but look at something like Neverwinter, which is entirely free to play. All of the new content, which they just released a pretty big expansion, I think it was last month, and they released all of that free. But they have, like, in-game currency you could buy for special cosmetics and character slots and stuff. But you can also get that currency in-game if you grind for it. Just saying, and that game's been around for a long time, because I played it 6-7 years ago, 5 years ago, I don't know. I don't remember now how long ago I started playing that. Got back into it recently, and was like, oh yeah, this game is great. So just saying, it is possible to do it.
And I feel like nowadays, sure, it's the times are different and stuff, and I understand, like, and this is kind of going back more to the content stuff, where DLCs and stuff play a role with keeping, the
players
developers.
Engaged.
Yeah, players engaged and the developers,
afloat
with, yeah. But at the same time, I feel like anymore, video games are just so rushed to just put them out, that they don't spend enough time to focus on the base game. They just want to rush and throw them out there, and then I feel like they try to make up for it in the DLCs, which is kind of... You could say that you could see that in, Destiny 2.
Yep.
So, I feel like that's a big thing nowadays.
It's a huge...
It's not everywhere. Like, A Way Out.
Well, yeah,
they did
but
that really well. And there's not... Of course, it's kind of a game where DLCs don't make sense, really.
Yeah. I think a lot of it's multiplayer games nowadays. It's not so much single-player games anymore.
Yeah.
It's a multiplayer game problem. And that's... Yeah. It's not good. But that's why I like... Blake, did you play Legends of Runeterra yet?
I have not.
Oh my gosh, you need to. Because they're smart, and they make it so you don't buy packs of cards. So you can actually play the game to get the cards that you need to stay up to date with metas. Which is like, wow, I actually got this from playing the game, and I don't lose because this person just bought a bunch of card packs. It's crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow. That's... Wow. Flippin'...
Wow.
dude. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Welcome to the Owen Wilson Distract3d Podcast.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Man, what you believe?
Wow. Wow. It's bananas. Wow.
So anyway,
But, where are we at?
Once again, welcome to the Distract3d Podcast.
Yeah, emphasize that first word there. But, like, MMOs getting content over time makes more sense in terms of they're kind of designed for longer brevity and to be around as long as possible. Kind of the goal. Which gives them a little bit of excuse in a sense because they're designed that way, but at the same time, make the base game good, please. Let something be there.
And
because wasn't that a problem with Battle for Azeroth, Blake, where when the expansion first came out, it was kind of trash, and then they updated it?
Well, no, because what happened was
what happened?
Yeah, they had a great start.
Oh, like, it was the opposite.
It had a great initial start, but nothing else happened after. It just kind of stagnated for a long time, and over time, people became more and more dissatisfied with what was. Because, like, in the beginning, it's like, oh, yeah, this is great, and then we're going to get a lot more stuff, too, right?
And then they were kind of
like...
Right? Yeah.
And then it never happened.
I said, am I right?
I said... But, yeah.
I've never heard your microphone get so loud.
I understand a lot of... Like, were initially, like, okay with BFA's launch, but the game wasn't updated quick enough to save people's dissatisfaction.
Right.
And that's why BFA is considered not a great expansion, because it had a strong start, but nothing became it.
Right, it was kind of like, okay, here's the story, and there's no repercussions. And
yeah, like once people got through the story, there wasn't much else to do.
There was no content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I know raiding in dungeons is a lot more difficult now, because you have to grind a lot more, just to like, keep up.
That's the point, though, right?
Yes, to a point. Like, it's the grinding. Like, obviously, you want to grind for better gear to go to higher levels of dungeons, higher difficulties, and all that kind of stuff. But people have to do a lot of grinding up to getting to raid, as opposed to just having gear that you get from like questing and whatever, and then raiding. There's another step involved that wasn't there before.
Because now, instead of like, okay, I've done the quest, now I'm ready to go do the challenges, it's, I've done the quest, now let's go do this one activity to get this one item, and then do it.
Not even that. Again. It's just like, okay, I have to start running mythics that are painful. Because I have to get a certain item level before I'm allowed to raid. Because a lot of times what will happen is if your item level isn't at least what the minimum recommended level is, a lot of times players will just kick you out of the group before you even get to do anything.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
like, I am by no expert on what WoW is. I am by no means an expert. There are probably some WoW turbo nerds that know way more than me. So
they're like, well, actually, you see.
Well, you see, actually.
Well, you see, actually, you got it good, because back when WoW came out, it was
stupid.
like a super
I'm going to tell you why you're stupid. I'm going to insult you.
So, hey, nerds. So...
This is called an opinion.
So what I was talking about earlier, just to kind of finish up a thought about it, when it comes to MMORPGs and the the monthly pay and the DLC, I could understand. I could totally back up monthly pay, or a yearly cost, because it takes money to run these servers, to continually run these servers. It makes sense, but I don't think it makes sense to do both. Yeah.
I know that's where you were going with that.
Yeah. I think you can choose one or the other. I can't see any need to make your players pay so much, because at that point it's more money grab than it is, caring about the content and your consumers.
Yep.
Right.
And I think. What was I gonna say? I don't remember what I was going to say. Quick, Blake, take over.
I feel like that's like a hit to the designers of the game. I'm sure that people don't design games. Okay, most people don't design games solely for the idea of, hey, this is going to make so much money. Lots of these developers and the creators, they want to share this world with their players. They're like, look at all this work I've put into this. Look what I've made. Have fun and experience it. But then, the money side comes in. I feel like the creators get screwed over a lot. They get a lot of bad rep when it's not them.
Right.
It's more the money side of it, but
yeah.
I can't comment on that because I'm not a game developer or anything like that.
Well, none of us are. Well, but these are opinions. But, these are logical assumptions and opinions.
Are they logical?
I mean, I'd like to think so.
I mean, there are assumptions, so
yeah. Well, I mean, we know, for example, because EA, the big contender for we want your money, we've seen with Jedi Fallen Order and all that stuff that if they let the developers do what they want, the games are good.
Let me ask this question. Finn, you and I were considering trying to learn programming to try to make just a little
I have learned
little fun game.
It takes a lot of time. A lot of effort.
Yes, but back to what was the main purpose? Why did you want to do that?
Oh, because...
Was it to make money?
No.
No.
I mean, yes, totally, 100%. Yeah, totally.
I feel like, sure, yes, there is definitely a business side to gaming, but I feel like
deep down, a lot of developers just want to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And, I mean... So, I feel like that is a logical...
Oh.
guess there.
According to my calculations, this is a logical assumption. But yeah, it is 100% possible to make a game with enough content in the base thing and to, maybe even provide more content later and the company still do well. That is something that can happen.
Yeah.
But, of course, some people just want money.
That's true.
Like Hollow Knight, for example. Fun game. Not my favorite game. Metroidvanias are not my favorite of all time. But when it came out, it had a good amount of content. I didn't play it, so I can't say how much there was. But then they released, 5, 6, an amount of free expansions with new bosses and stuff going on. And that company is doing well, and now they're making a standalone, I think it counts as an expansion, or it's a sequel, prequel, one of those. It's it is possible. And by the way, Hollow Knight, if I'm not mistaken, was $15-$20 when it came out. So it is possible. And of course, with a bigger company, they're spending more money on development, so they need more money. But that's okay.
So, speaking of expansions and DLCs, thinking back, what was one of your favorite DLCs and expansions? Both of you.
War of the Chosen. XCOM 2, War of the Chosen. Hands down.
Very
I know, that was a quick answer. But it is...
He knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, it's so good. XCOM 2 is already, as we know, one of my top 10 games of all time. Because it is so much fun. Oh no, did I swap it? I think I swapped it for Banner Saga in the end. I swapped it, didn't I? I did swap it. Anyways, XCOM 2 is still one of my favorite games of all time. And that expansion added so much content that felt like a new game with all the things they added to it. Because it added... Blake, you've played the base game. I don't know how far you've gotten.
Right.
But there's a lot of stuff there to do, as you said before.
Uh-huh.
War of the Chosen adds new enemy types. It adds a whole new like zombie enemy thing with a new mechanic where every time you kill one, that character gets a free turn because it swarms them. That's a whole new mechanic with a whole new mission type. It adds the 3 Chosen, which are these bosses that come and hunt you down and will steal your soldiers. It then adds raids to go and kill them. That's a whole new thing. Your carrier can get attacked by them, which I believe you could be attacked before, but this makes it cooler and harder and better. It added a soldier, like, mental fatigue thing, where you can't take them out mission after mission, because they would get mentally fatigued and would start getting worse and worse debuffs, which is bad. And then they added the thing where if 2 soldiers go on missions together, they form a soldier bond and get buffs for being sent on missions together. And it added 3 new classes, and it added all this stuff, and new maps, and new mission types. So that's an expansion done right, because it took all of the content that was already there and went, let's do all of this other cool stuff. That was a long-winded explanation, but it was on topic, so I count that as a win. I see this as an absolute win.
So, Blake,
yeah.
Do you need time to think about yours, or do you have an idea of what your
favorite DLC?
Yeah,
he's gonna
it could be an expansion DLC.
To be honest.
I mean, you've played Legion and stuff, right?
Well, if you consider that DLC.
Yeah, it's an expansion. It counts.
Expansion DLC, same thing. I'm gonna say, I always have the most fun, in Legion content. That's why they considered one of the best WoW expansions there is as a Legion.
Wrath of the Lich King. Wrath of the Legion.
No, obviously there's Wrath of the Lich King, and then there's Legion.
No, it's flipping Wrath of the Burning Legion.
Wrath of the Burning Lich King.
Laugh of the Burning Crusade Lich King.
But Legion,
Crusade!
I actually really enjoy Horde side. The main campaign, like the Zandalari campaign, that I really enjoy. I think that is easily the best area that came out of this expansion.
I still have
Empire.
not played that far yet.
Yeah, well.
Yeah,
good,
well,
good.
Look, I'm level 70, okay.
Okay,
I just have one thing to say to you.
Level. But yeah, so I guess that would probably be
Shut
mine.
up, Tris, I know.
Is Legion with Horde side BFA as a close second.
Wow.
Okay, cool.
And this is the part where Tristan yells for the Horde.
For the Horde!
Yeah, there it is.
No, so, man, I don't even play World of Warcraft.
I know, but every single time.
Alliance-y and everything.
The Alliance is the best. We're all about friendship and positivity.
As a person who has done both Alliance and Horde, I'm gonna say for the Horde.
Why am I surrounded by the Horde? Even Bobby is a Horde player. We were talking about this the other night.
Because Horde's more interesting.
No, friendship is the way to go.
Yeah, Horde.
No.
Finn,
They're all like...
Your alliance is horrible.
Okay.
Anyway,
this is where we announced this is the last episode. Just on Beyond. He managed to get through 1.5.
So, I would have to say that my favorite DLC is The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, The Shivering Isles.
Really? You didn't pick the vampire one from...
Dawnguard?
Yeah.
It's okay, but The Shivering Isles is basically the whole premise is you enter the realm of the Mad God, right?
Oh, yeah, that's that one.
It's literally you're dealing with insanity. And you get to do a whole bunch of quests where lots of things don't make sense, and it's just it's really out there. And whereas you still are in the world of the Elder Scrolls, it's like a totally different world. It's so cool, and it's honestly so much better than I haven't even played to the whole story of Oblivion, the main quest. I've only played the Shivering Isles DLC all the way through, and the Knights of the Nine as well is really, really fun. Basically, you
do things for the Knights of the Nine.
Well, for the nine gods of the Elder Scrolls, yeah. But oh yeah, it's so much fun. I've spent hours just in that one DLC world in the Shivering Isles, just roaming around and experiencing the different things. It's super fun.
Yeah, well, you're wrong. Because you're wrong. You're wrong. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong.
Well, you know what? That was a weak burp. Okay, never mind.
that was lame. That was not even worth a 2.
I'll come back. I'll have to take 2. All right,
yeah.
Continue.
Content. You know what does content really well? Is Neverwinter. I brought it up earlier. But Neverwinter, I'd say Deep Rock does content pretty well. Each update's pretty good at adding new things and stuff. See, Deep Rock's just not my favorite
either of
game.
those.
But, well, Blake's played Deep Rock. He knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. Deep Rock is not my favorite game in the world. I will say that. Just
how dare you?
It has to be your absolute favorite.
No, that was Darkest Dungeon. We went over this.
Heresy!
Darkest Dungeon also did content well when it came out, and then updated and added things, and then the expansions came out, and the Crimson Court is great. It is so good. But I still pick War of the Chosen because War of the Chosen's War of the Chosen. It's incredible. And then the Colors of Madness came out, and that one was kind of meh. It was cool, but wasn't as good. And I didn't like the new area added. But it added, words. But I like how Neverwinter does their content, because all the expansions are free. The game is free. It just keeps going on, dude. It's how it goes. It's just new content. And I think that if things were smart and people were smart, for example, you brought up A Way Out, Tristan.
Yes.
And how it's, like I said, it's hard for multiplayer games to do this because of the nature of them. Oh, I can talk about that in a minute. But single player games, for example, don't ever really have to put out content unless they're early access stuff that needs updates because of balancing and bug fixing and all that kind of jazz. So that is... Oh, this is the part where I almost die. But that is a thing to keep in mind, that single player games are never going to die because single player games are the best. Well, that was a thing for a while. Do you remember that? When developers were like, oh yeah, no one's going to play single player games anymore, so we're going to make just multiplayer games. And that was the big thing for a while.
That's not ridiculous at all.
Well,
all of Finn's favorite games were multiplayer.
None of them were multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
All of them were single player focused games.
Yes, all of them were.
Yeah. And there's a good reason for that.
I like single player and multiplayer games, so you know.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Love multiplayer games.
I am getting
unless I'm playing them with Tristan, because then I just want
Because all I ever do in multiplayer games
is he sits there and goes.
I let Finn do the work and I just go back and loot.
He goes. I kill the enemies and I go, all right, let's move on to the next room. He goes, dude, there is one blade of grass here. Let's go get it.
It had something in it, just saying.
One of them did. The rest of them did not, and it was like 1 coin.
But you would have missed it had I not tried to.
It was 1 coin. I don't think we were hurting for
it.
coin. No, it wasn't. But like for example, League of Legos, aka League of Legends. That's a game.
Speaking of which, Lego My Egos, also known as League of Legends.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a Lego version of League of Legends?
I don't know whether it will work.
That would be beautiful.
Also, you don't like MOBAs, so...
I don't care much for MOBAs, no.
Because you're you, and you're weird.
League is probably the best MOBA that there is.
I think most people would agree. I miss Paragon, though. Did you ever hear...
No, you realize now that you said that, there's going to be like 10 people in the comments like, League of Legends actually shut...
Yeah, Dota 2... Dota was first, and it's like, you know, Dota... And you know what I say to you? Dota 2 is the most annoying game I've ever played. Just saying. Don't at me. Dota 2.
Don't at me.
Dota 2.
Wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, Dota 2 is the most annoying game I have ever played in my entire life. Ugh. I don't even want to remember that experience. It was not fun. But like League, for example... If you want to talk about over the amount of content, there's technically not a lot of content in League of Legends. You know? You have the base game mode.
So, I mean, their content is...
Hold on. Just let me explain. You have the base game mode. You have the seasonal things that come by every once in a while. And then that's... And then, of course, you have TFT now, which is its own thing, so I don't really count it. And, of course, Legends of Frontera, the company's branching out, which is good. But the content in League comes from the amount of polish that's gone into the main content, the main 5v5 mode, and then all the new heroes are content. There's something new and exciting that adds to the content, right? They are mini DLC in a sense, right? There's something added to the base game. But that goes with the point of this whole rant. That even multiplayer games can have a base game that is so good, it doesn't need to have some kind of crazy new content you have to buy. You know? You picking up what I'm putting down?
I do pick up, but you are putting on the down.
Yes.
I pick things up.
I can pick things up. Because, I mean, what? Blake, how long did you play League before you just up and quit? And left me?
And abandoned me?
You abandoned
me?
me?
Like 3-4 months ago.
It's been a while since I've actually played it.
Yeah, because you got banned for no reason. Which was quite a thing. But you know, I played League for 6 years, maybe 7. I don't know. I started playing like right after Summoner's Rift got overhauled to what it looks like now.
I don't know how you can put that much time into a MOBA. I don't know. I personally don't get MOBAs.
That's because you're dumb. Your brain can't
like,
you can't handle the big brain.
If I'm gonna do some sort of like fighting game, it's gonna be an FPS.
I prefer MOBAs. But
This is like, and I prefer you shut
I
your mouth.
prefer these you shut now. And but like I was saying, multiplayer games can have such a good main content that they don't have to do, you know, crazy other things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And of course, all MOBAs are kind of the same like that because they just put all their focus into the main game mode. But some do it better. Dota's bad. And then some companies...
You fucking what?
And then some companies, Blizzard, abandoned their MOBAs for no reason other than money and screw you, because Heroes of the Storm was awesome, and they got rid of it.
Heroes of the Storm was always booty.
No, Heroes of the Storm was fantastic. It was a great twist with
fantastically booty.
No, the talent system was fun.
It was booty.
You played it like once, so get out of here.
Ooh to the T.
But
once
again,
actually, with my dad.
Oh, that's right. You did say that.
I always hated it. I used to do Warwick before Warwick was a jungler.
Warwick's... That was League. That's not Heroes.
I know what I'm talking about, trust me.
I don't think you do.
I don't think you understand.
I see, that's how much I play MOBAs. I used to play League with my dad. Heroes of the Storm was always booty.
Well, jungling wasn't even around for a long time.
Exactly. I would just howl and eat people's faces off. That's all that matters.
Now you howl and then run in.
Now if I,
and then
now if I
I
have to go to Skyrim.
You howl and then you run in and then you leave. That's what happens.
But now if I want to howl and eat people's faces off, I have to go to Skyrim.
You can play League still. Warwick still exists.
No!
In fact, Warwick is better than he's ever been, pretty much. I don't know how he is in the current patch, but... Oh, you know what I'm excited for? Talk about content and things? Because this relates to a content thing. I'm excited for Valorant. Are you excited for that? Is it just me?
What?
Valorant? Did you see Valorant?
What is that?
I don't know
It's...
what that.
Okay, so do you remember... Blake, you probably remember when Riot did their big 10th anniversary thing and they were showing off all the projects they've been working on? Do you remember that? Remember, this was when they announced Legends of Runeterra and the mobile version of League, and like they showed off a fighting game and all that stuff? Just me? Okay, cool.
I don't know, man.
Anyways, during that, they showed they were making a first-person shooter called Project A, which a couple weeks ago they announced as Valorant, and it's coming out this summer, so not long. And it's essentially, and you're going to like it, Tristan, because it is Counter-Strike CSGO meets Overwatch.
Okay.
It has the same gameplay structure as CSGO, where you have they're called spike sites, and you plant the bomb, and the other team has to defuse the bomb.
Yeah.
But you have different characters with different abilities.
But you know what's better than that?
Don't say it.
The Rooster Teeth game that they came out with, where you have to get chicken nuggets.
Oh my gosh, that's not what we're talking about.
You mine nuggets.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, you leave my chickies out of this.
All for the nuggets. Do it for the nuggets. For the horde!
No.
For the nuggies.
No. Why can't I escape?
You're just gonna keep bringing back the horde.
I'm surrounded by horde.
Yep.
You know that scene in Spaceballs?
I'm surrounded by, yeah.
Yeah, that's me right now.
I knew it. Surrounded
By horde. Poor Lonely Alliance player. But, continuing to that, I'm excited for that because Riot Games is a very good developer at making things. It's going to be free to play as well, by the way. At making things, and the money they get from it comes from cosmetic stuff, which is great and awesome and cool because they're clearly making enough money to support themselves, and they're still giving players good things. But that leads into my thing with CSGO. I don't like CSGO. Full clarification. I played it for a couple years. Did not enjoy it. That has the dumbest content thing in the world. Okay? They make you get cases and buy keys for the cases. It's dumb.
For cosmetics, so you don't need to.
I don't care. It's still dumb. That is the only new content in the game ever. That's all they do. They add new skins from crates that require keys.
And I'm sorry, what do MOBAs do?
Hey, listen. With those, no. Listen, with those, it's not random. Okay? You get the skin straight up. In CSGO, it's random. Every time. It's a loot box system. It's Overwatch system. But even in Overwatch, you can get the in-game currency, which lets you get the skins you want. My point is, the only way to get stuff in CSGO is from loot boxes, which was our problem with EA. And when everyone was like, oh, dude, look at EA, look at the stuff they're doing with loot boxes and all their games, even though some of that stuff was giving people an edge, no one has ever talked about how CSGO literally is the biggest source of gambling in the world.
Gambling?
I kid you not. It's like an actual thing.
It's
it is
not the biggest source of gambling.
It is considered. It is considered gambling. I kid you not.
But
there have been.
It's the biggest source of gambling.
No, I'm not kidding. It is. It is like the biggest.
Benjamin, have you
no,
not
look. You look it up. Go look it up.
Finn, have you not heard of Vegas?
I have heard of Vegas, but as the single thing, CS:GO trumps that. Because it is worldwide. It is, listen, it is worldwide and open to all ages. Casinos, you have to be... No, I'm not making this up. Go look it up.
It's not the absolute first source.
No, go look it up. Go look it up.
I'm not... Finn,
go look it up.
Not the single source.
Go look it up.
You do not like to be wrong.
And are you saying you like to be wrong, Tristan?
Like, there have been talks in law about banning it because teenagers can do it, and it is considered gambling.
Lotteries are the leading form of gambling.
Okay, that's the lottery. That's its own category.
That is gambling. Finn,
Anyways, worldwide...
Is lottery.
Worldwide is the lottery, but for all ages, CSGO trumps that because CSGO, unlike the lottery and casinos and all that stuff, has no age minimum.
Okay, but still, there are a lot more, even if you add in the younger players, there are a lot more people who play the lottery than play CSGO.
Don't forget, though, the lottery stuff is more like people will get ones from different areas and stuff. It's a whole thing. My point is, it is that big. I
don't know what that means. But okay.
My point is, the reason why you're like, oh, but MOBAs do it too. Once again, they guarantee what you get. Second, if it is to the point where countries have literally brought up laws about banning it because it's open to everyone, that's probably not a good sign.
So then the problem is that we're so concerned about cosmetics, and it's just cosmetics. And if you're spending money on cosmetics, well, then it better be some really good cosmetics.
Right, but that was... Well, yeah.
Side note, you're stupid if you're paying for cosmetics.
I'm pretty sure you've done it before, so... Oh,
sure,
yeah, you did. In Elder Scrolls Online, you bought a wolf mount and then proceeded to stop playing the game.
Yeah, I did. Hey, man, when you ball with money, you know, you buy wolf mounts, you know?
Oh, my gosh.
I never said it wasn't stupid. I just said you had to be stupid to buy cosmetics.
Which you did.
And I did, and I just said that I never said enough.
Yeah.
I am embracing my stupidity.
Anyways, once again, my whole point with that is League and MOBAs give new heroes, which is new content. CSGO does cases with skins, which I think is a lame way of doing content. From my standpoint. Even
the gameplay is more fun than a MOBA.
Can I make a statement that'll trigger Tristan? Because I'm going to. Even Fortnite does better at giving content than CSGO does.
Sure.
Yeah, because they actually add new gameplay stuff to the game with their things.
Sure, but is it gameplay worth playing? No.
Not to us, but to the people that play it, probably.
So you're saying people who have lives, and then people who do not.
Yeah, pretty much.
Get ready for some hate comments in the comments.
I'm allowed to dislike Fortnite.
Disliking something on the internet? Who do you think you are?
I am the lord of the internet. Come at me, bro.
An opinion on the internet? Are you?
How dare I? That's not allowed. That's illegal. How could you do that?
Wait, that's illegal.
That's illegal.
That reminds me of Red vs. Blue. Wait, that's illegal.
Copyright.
Copyright.
Rooster Teeth bussin'.
So now we're not allowed to say it's movies.
Copyright.
I mentioned source. Just saying.
Mention what?
I mentioned the source, so it's not copyright.
It's copyright. It's over. It's done. Podcast is over.
Distract3d Podcast is canceled due to copyright.
Due to copyright from Rooster Teeth. No, we'll get picked up by Rooster Teeth. We'll do that instead. Even though they already have like 2-3 different podcasts. Oh, jeez.
By the way, I'm currently playing a game called Mad Max.
You're playing it again?
Yes.
Are you playing it while we're recording this?
I am indeed.
I'm the only one not playing anything because I have to show the footage. And I only have one monitor.
It'd be like that sometimes, bro.
It do be like that. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I'll be fine. Guys, thanks.
I don't think it'll be fine.
No. I'm dying.
You never were fine, Finn.
Nope.
Unless we're talking about you being fined for copyright.
Oh my gosh.
Gosh, we all heard you say that Red vs. Blue quote. How dare you, Finn?
Never even finished Red vs. Blue.
That is... okay.
See, he said it's okay. I'm good. I'm in the clear. You heard it.
I'm in the clear. You can't sue me.
Do you know, like... Okay, question. Because we're all stuck in quarantine. To date this episode of the podcast. Being stuck at home. Have you been watching anything? Like any TV shows?
Jeez.
Don't you dare say The Office or Parks and Rec for the 10th time.
No. So I have been watching something
Is it
called The
My
Office. For the 5th time?
Watch this great show. It's a little dated, but you might have heard of it. It's called The Office.
It's called The Office. I've only told you about it so many times.
I also restarted Red vs. Blue.
Wow.
So,
show.
yeah, Red vs. Blue and The Office. So what?
I'm just saying, I need to finish that show.
It is really, really good. And even the later seasons, like, it may seem like they were trying to figure out what they're doing with the show, but I think they kind of... It's pretty okay. Yeah, it's not too... It's a pretty fun show. I have no idea when the next season's supposed to be.
Yeah, well, you know, you're supposed to be watching My Hero Academia, Mr. Trying to initiate you into anime over here.
I was going to, but then The Office.
You've seen it so many times!
And it's good so many times.
No. My Hero Academia is better than The Office.
That's what we call an opinion.
It is.
That's what we call an incorrect opinion.
I don't like The Office.
Yeah, well, that just explains what kind of character.
Yeah, I'm a cool one. Because we all know going against popular opinion is the cool thing to do. That's how this works.
There's no opinion here, only fact.
Somebody please help me. I'm working with unprofessional people.
Is it specifically me just because I don't like The Office that makes me unprofessional?
Wait, what?
You said working with unprofessional people. Is that mean because I don't like The Office? Does that make me unprofessional?
No, it's both of you schmucks.
For arguing.
As part of the podcast.
Opinions are opinions.
Math is math. You can't change math.
Is math.
I don't agree with your opinion about the quadratic formula.
Your actions have consequences.
Opinion.
Oh jeez. No, just you should watch Goblin Slayer while stuck at home because it's not that long and it's really good.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm really
12
specific about my anime. When did we get on the conversation of anime?
Look, we're talking about this. We're talking about this. This is a different it's not video game content, but it's content while you're at home, stuck at home for quarantine. Watching shows, because that's what people do.
So then maybe we should just title this
it's
Quarantine Talk.
The Quarantine Talk. These content for home. We'll title the episode Content at Home. Have you seen... Because you need to finish Fullmetal Alchemist. You need to watch Goblin Slayer, because it's very good. And like, what do you mean by particular about your anime? What does that mean exactly?
I mean that I am very selective of which kinds of animes I watch.
But like, what does that entail? What?
Basically FMA Brotherhood and Ruby are the two animes that I like.
What was the second one?
Ruby.
Ruby does not count as an anime.
You know what, Finn? They had this conversation but
I remember I had to leave to go do a thing when that question came up, so I didn't get either answer.
Oh.
They asked that question as I was walking out.
Their answer was whatever floats your boat, but...
Well, okay, here, it's...
Look it up
for
on
me...
the internet, it comes up as an American anime.
Right, but I think for me the term anime is kind of like American literature. American literature is anything written by an American, right? But anime is a cartoon by the Japanese. That's what that is for me.
Well, that narrows down a lot of anime.
How does that narrow down a lot of anime?
I mean, there are a lot of animes that were not made by the Japanese people.
Name them.
Well, I'm not an anime nerd.
Name them. You can't make a statement like that and then not give names. I can think of a couple.
Listen.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, Ruby, and Castlevania are the three that come to my mind.
And Avatar: The Last Airbender is...
It's an American anime. It's not a true anime. If you want to be technical about the term.
So...
By definition of the term,
I'm going to let the nerds in the comments defend my case. But I don't think...
I'm a linguist, okay? And
anime means animated. anime is animated.
Then what's a cartoon? A cartoon is animated.
Yeah. So literally, anime just means anything animated. So literally.
But here's the thing: if
Disney is anime.
No. Onward, like, freaking Snow White is not an anime. You can claim that Ruby and Avatar: The Last Airbender and Castlevania are done in the anime style.
Yeah. But
by the definition of the word, they are not anime. If you're going by definition.
But Finn, that's like saying a movie is done in the drama style, but it's not a drama.
What?
That's what you're saying. You're saying it's done in the anime style, but it's not an anime.
But that's an art style. That's different than a movie direction. Art style is much different.
How can you define anime?
Like if you're doing, for example, if you're doing a Van Gogh style painting, it does not make it a Van Gogh painting because Van Gogh did not paint it, right? Or if you're doing a Picasso style, it doesn't make it a Picasso. We're talking about paintings.
Finn, what you're talking about is Japanese anime, which is an actual subsection of anime.
No, it's just straight up. Anime is Japanese.
No.
And then the term originally that's what it was, and then when other countries started to do that style, then it became Japanese anime. Originally, it was not that. Nowadays, no, you're not letting me get to my point. I still call those shows anime. I still call them that. But by the original definition of the word, they are not. That was the point I was getting to. I still call them anime. Castlevania, I consider one. But by the definition, it is not. That is what I was saying.
You went a very different direction. So if you start out in one direction, and then decide to change at the last moment, you can't be upset when somebody tries to defend the other side.
No! You know me. I go one direction and then get to my actual point. You know that.
Guys, you heard it from the source. He loves One Direction.
I clearly did not use the L word there. See, I'm not even guess. Nope.
One Direction, the band.
Nope.
It's too late. You already said it.
I feel like you're gonna show up, like, to whatever. If we ever go to a con again, next time we can, you're gonna show up with a white T-shirt or some kind of T-shirt, and you're gonna you're gonna have an arrow on it, and you're gonna be like, "Dude, I'm One Direction," and I'm just gonna be like, "You shut your mouth." That's lame. That is something you would do.
You know what?
Blake, back me up here. That is something he would do.
I'm gonna have a shirt that says "Ruby is an anime," and say "Finn, screw you."
What part of I call it that do you not understand? We had this discussion.
Oh, I don't know, the 20 minutes where you were defending.
The 20 minutes where I was saying by definition it is not, but I still call it one. Once again, by definition, no, but I still call it one because.
By definition, no, but in reality, yes.
Yes. Well, yes, but actually, no.
But I do have to disagree with what you said, though, because by definition, it is a genre. It's the artistic style. Just like drama is an artistic style. It's the style of the film. So, I mean, whereas you may not see it as that, you're thinking of Japanese anime, and it may have started in Japan, but, drama didn't start in America, but we have American dramas. So, I don't know. Well, I personally cannot agree with what
No, I'm saying once again, I said original definition was it was purely Japanese. Nowadays, no, because that has changed. Because now it's everywhere. It's like literature. You have American literature, which is done by Americans. Japanese literature, which is written by Japanese.
Which American.
And now we have American anime and Japanese anime and all the others. But we didn't beforehand. That was the point. Do you understand what my point was now?
Yeah, I get what you.
Okay, funny story. I didn't know Speed Racer was an anime until like last year.
So like the beginning of this podcast was like video game content, right?
Yeah, but this is the point of the podcast. It's a variety podcast.
Animes.
Yeah, but okay, but like yeah, I did not know.
Screw that. What is an anime?
I did not know that Speed Racer was an anime until last year. Because I just never thought about it as a kid.
That's weird.
Yeah. Well, because my dad watched it growing up, right? And so we got it on DVD. We got some old ones.
Did you ever see the live action movie?
No, and I don't want to. Grayson keeps trying to get me to watch it.
I didn't watch the original anime, but I watched the...
You... heathen.
It's not bad.
But then again, you don't have the experience of the original show. Yeah.
But then again, the experience of the original often ruins the art of the new.
Yeah, because the original...
So like with Ready Player One, I read the book beforehand, and I was severely disappointed when the movie came out. But then
nothing like it.
It was nothing like the books. But then I set aside the idea that it was supposed to be like the book, and I was like, okay, let's watch this movie for the movie. What is this movie portraying? And it was a freaking fantastic movie. It really is. But because I had the experience of, you know, the past and had expectations, you know, screwed it up.
I miss Tom Bombadil.
Tom Bombadil?
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. That is the one thing they cut that I was like,
the most powerful being in all of
pretty much.
Middle-earth. Yeah.
Good old Tom Bombadil.
So how are you doing, Blake?
Doing great, guys.
You watch anime too. Where's your 2 cents on anime?
I don't even know what the topic is anymore.
We're talking about animes, dude. We're proving that Tristan is a weeb.
I'm a what?
A weeb.
You're a weeb.
I literally just said I only watch...
That counts you. You've seen 2 of them.
No, a weeb is somebody who basically wants to be Japanese. They embrace the Japanese culture so much they want to be Japanese.
And that sounds like Tristan.
They try everything they... I'm sorry, what?
That sounds like Tristan. Wouldn't you agree, Blake? I think that's Tristan. 100%.
Yeah, definitely. I'm most definitely a weeb.
There you go. You said it. We got on tape.
You heard it, boys and girls.
You heard it here first.
I am indeed a weeb.
Oh man. Yeah, you should watch Castlevania too. That's a good one. And it's American.
Yeah,
It has Thorin in it. Thorin plays the main character.
Oh, I didn't know that actor.
From The Hobbit. His actor plays Trevor Belmont.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, you probably won't have the same connection because you're not like me, where Castlevania is one of your favorites.
I think what happened here is that we realized, wow, we kind of already talked about exactly what we decided our content would be about. So we're just gonna continue with Hey man, I just like to be real with our viewers, you know?
It's almost like we somehow blaze through topics faster than the normal human being.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more to talk about. I mean,
there are, but
content in general is...
It's too broad of a topic to, like, you know, to hit all at once anyway. So hitting it like section by section.
And we also kind of even microtransactions as well.
Yeah.
So
which I mean that's part of content nowadays.
Yeah. True. So what? Trying to think.
You know what always has good content for a price are plays.
Oh my god. You really go there?
He's trying to get you to come to play.
I'm trying to get Blake more involved in the conversation here because he's been dead silent.
Well, yeah, because this has been you two talking for Professor Miss and me being confused as to what we're talking about.
It's okay, bro. We
Like,
all
honestly,
are.
I got lost a long time ago.
It's okay, man. We all are.
I don't think I've only ever seen The Tempest and then Rabbit Hole. Those are the only plays I've actually seen.
No. Okay,
oh, and Putnam.
Let's decide on like one or two.
No, we do all the things.
We are the Distracted Podcast, I suppose.
Yeah, variety podcast. Blake, have you seen Steins Gate?
I have not.
Oh, you should. You really should. I don't know if Tristan would like it. Because it's an anime through and through. But it is really good. Cat? What are you doing?
I think our cats have linked brains because mine just attacked me as well.
Well, it's not attacking me, it's attacking one of the other cats.
Oh, well.
So, you know. I think that's just cats. They attack things. Cats are evil. Confirmed.
Which is why dogs are better.
Dogs are better. You got any smart remarks for that, Tristan, Mr. Catboy?
So, yeah, I do. Would be that is an incorrect statement, but dogs are slobbery. Anyway,
dogs are
much better. No, dogs are okay. They just have to be the right kind of dog. It has to be a real dog. If your dog is the size of a cat, it's not a dog.
It's a freaking dude. Chihuahuas are the worst.
Hey, listen, man.
Hey,
French bulldogs. French bulldogs are fine, but Chihuahuas, that ain't a dog.
So
I have a Chihuahua. How dare
you? You have a Chihuahua?
Yes.
I didn't know.
Chloe's a Chihuahua.
I didn't know that, but still, I still stick by my statement.
So the Chihuahua.
Oh, you know what? You want to talk about content? You know a place that adds new content and, for the most part, keeps its admission price the same?
What, Finn?
Disney World.
What? No, stop! Just stop!
What even is happening anymore?
Think about it. They add new stuff.
Stop it! Stop! We're not talking about this. Oh my gosh! What the heck?
But it's content.
What crap is going on right now?
I don't know, dude.
So which? I mean, of course, there's the very obvious developers, but what kind of developers, like which specific developers do you think are more concerned about the content of the game rather than the money the game makes?
Supergiant Games.
And that's the one with Pyre and everything?
Yeah, they made Pyre, Hades, Bastion, and Transistor, which their games admittedly aren't super long, but they are polished. Like, that's the thing, too. Content doesn't have to be a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff can actually hurt your content, right? Because then it's just a jumble and nothing is polished. With those, it's very concise and clear what the content is, and it's extremely polished, so it makes it that much better. Once again, kind of like what I was saying with the MOBA, where they focused on one thing and just focused on making that the best it could possibly be. You know what I'm saying?
You know who really doesn't care about the money? EA.
Okay, you...
Oh, comedy.
I was about to say this podcast. But no, freaking this guy over here making the biggest... I mean, they're getting better. I will say that. They've been getting better recently. But they will never have the same light because of... Yeah.
So have you ever checked how much time you've spent in video games? Like, I think there's a way to do it with
what?
In Steam, you can check your played.
Yeah, it's literally in your library. It shows you.
Well, okay, but your total hours played.
Oh, I have no idea. It's probably a lot. I
feel like that would be really, really depressing to know.
Don't look at it. I mean, we saw Blake's hours in TF2.
In what now?
In TF2.
I didn't see what his hours were.
Blake, would you like to tell him?
What?
Your amount of time spent in TF2.
What about it?
It's a lot. It was like 16,000 or something.
26, but that's not.
26,000 hours?
2,600 hours.
2,600, yeah.
Okay, I was about to say, my boy.
You know there are other games, right?
No, Blake just leaves like the game running so he can be like, dude, look how much time I've spent in this game. When actually it's only not even half the time.
So we kind of brushed on this, but have you guys personally seen like an increase in the quality of content in different genres of games?
What do you mean?
So like,
exactly, like
MMOs or FPS, just in general. So have you personally, and you know, of course, we've already talked about multiplayer versus single player. Single player tends to have more fleshed out content, especially nowadays. But have you seen like an increase in the quality of content? Like maybe because MMOs are so large, they have to flesh out more.
I feel like they've become more bloated. It's like I was saying just a moment ago, where the amount of content does not necessarily make it good content. Right?
That's true.
And I think, like, I haven't touched Season of the Worthy in, like, 2 weeks for Destiny 2. Because it just feels like more of the same. It just feels bloated. I played Season of the Dawn purely because I like Osiris, which I know is not a popular opinion. But I think Osiris is cool. And I don't like Rasputin in the Warmind. I think that's kind of lame. So, you know, I don't have much of a reason to do it. Because I play
Finn's gonna get beat up after this. Like, he's saying how much he loves EA.
I didn't say that.
Oh, no, I definitely heard it. He said it. He said he loves One Direction. I mean...
Oh, my days.
Just planting things.
You are the equivalent of an internet troll, Tristan.
He really is.
Hey, man, I'm an in-life troll.
He is. That's his theme song.
I just look like a troll. Okay, that's my problem. I just look...
No, you're a dwarf. We discussed this.
I don't even play.
Oh yeah, like you were there for that.
To play a game
in this, in the gameplay people are watching right now, Reese, my friend, was like, "Yo, are you recording this for the podcast because Tristan looks like a dwarf?" And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, Tristan is a dwarf. Think about it. He plays an artificer in D&D. He's a dwarf." And I was like, "Isn't that more of a gnome thing?" And he goes, "Yeah, but gnomes are shorter. Tristan's not that short. He's a dwarf."
I don't know.
You can't deny tinkering is a dwarf thing.
It's a dwarvish thing, sure, but it's not like nobody else does it.
It's gnomes and dwarves.
Once again, going back to the anime topic, just because it's a Japanese style thing doesn't mean that only the Japanese do it.
Unless you're in...
And we brought it back full circle!
Unless you're in D&D, in which case, or in WoW.
I play a human artificer!
You do, but you're wrong. Hey, just saying, I broke the mold. I have a rogue who has a happy backstory. Did I tell you one of the NPCs in our D&D campaign that you guys have met is an artificer?
No. What?
Ha. And you don't know who it is.
Wait, I literally didn't hear what you said.
One of the NPCs you've met in the D&D campaign, I made him an artificer. Now you're like, who the heck was it?
I kind of... Is it Haster?
Nope.
I feel like he could be. Oh, okay.
It's not Haster.
Because he...
No, his class is very obvious.
Huh?
His class is fairly straightforward.
I honestly haven't been in that campaign too much because, of my schedule and everything, but...
But you have met this character. You've been there in sessions where he was around.
Oh my gosh! Wait, is it the bird dude? Because he gives out little trinkets.
No, it is not Teoki.
It would make so much sense if it was Teoki.
It would, but it's not.
Okay,
it's
okay. We can talk about this. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
So, Malake.
What?
Have you personally seen an increase of quality content with
WoW?
With different genres of games?
I mean, I don't know.
Has WoW gotten
I
better?
can't say.
Perfect answer. I don't know.
Love that. We love those.
Huh.
Tristan, now you have to answer it.
I mean, I think adventure games.
Right.
They kind of have to be flushed out.
It takes a lot more, because like if you want to look at Souls-like games from Dark Souls, like Dark Souls 3 is the best in the series. That has had an improvement over time, as well as the games that borrow elements of it have gotten better at their borrowing and making it their own. So, it's a big topic thing. It's a lot of.
Can you think of any games that were worse than their DLCs were better than their base game? I mean, of course, we already talked about Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
But can you think of any others?
Well, I mean, I would say War of the Chosen's better than the base game of XCOM, but that doesn't make XCOM 2 bad. That's just because War of the Chosen is so good and improved the game so much by adding so much stuff.
That's fair.
I'm trying to run through my head what DLCs I've played. Because it's not too much. Geez, I don't know.
I mean, and I kind of mentioned it earlier.
Well, yeah, you said you're...
Not that Oblivion is a bad game, but I just love the Shivering Isles so much.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've heard people say that they like Dawnguard better than Skyrim. I wouldn't agree. I think there was a lot of fun to be had in the base game of Skyrim.
Yeah, but I think when people say that, they talk mainly about the main quest.
And I think that the main quest. I guess I haven't played on the hunter side of the Dawnguard, and I think that's where they were talking about. But because I chose to be a vampire, But
not unexpected.
Hey man, look, I just like turning into ravaging creature and eating people's faces off. You know,
hunting down evil is better.
Did you say hunting down Ebola?
No, evil.
Oh, okay. I heard Ebola. But no, I like the main story of Skyrim. It was fun. I mean, learning that you're the chosen one.
Spoilers.
Having a Thuum, you know.
Spoilers.
Okay, if they haven't played Skyrim by now,
dude, it's like Breath of the Wild, man. Not everyone finishes the game.
Well, that's the beginning of the quest, though. Skyrim. You learn that you're the chosen one. You're Dragonborn. That's... I mean, they say it in the... you can literally see that in, like, the ads for the game.
Spoilers.
Hey, spoilers, guys. Don't watch any of the ads for this
game.
Wait,
okay, so, like, if you're the funny thing... I know this doesn't actually have anything to it, because it's a joke. If you're an Argonian, you're already a Dragonborn, so you don't have to be chosen. By D&D rules, you are a Dragonborn. Henceforth, you are always the hero.
Hey, they do have lizard folk. And Argonians are more like lizard than Dragonborn. There are lizard folk, but the problem is in D&D lizard folk. I don't know their exact name. I think they might just be called lizard folk, but they're also the snake race. But I think they would be more like the lizards. But the problem with the lizards, the lizard creatures, is that they're humanoid, but they're very, very basic in thought.
They're kobolds, essentially.
Kinda, yeah.
Because the kobolds are lizard-esque people.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was a joke, Tristan. It was a joke. I got that.
Jokes are not allowed here.
I clearly stated before I said it.
Just kidding. You're here, so we're all good. Comedy.
At least I'm a good joke. You're a bad joke. Anyways.
Nope,
Anyways,
I'm a dad joke.
That will bring us to the end of this week's podcast episode. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to our ramblings.
That's the point.
Whatever this was.
It's a variety distraction podcast, such as the life.
Woohoo! I'm a
but
performer.
Yeah, if you want more of the lovely content that we provide without making you pay for DLC or microtransactions, you can find us right here on the Distract3d Podcast YouTube channel. You can find me on Twitch, where I stream sometimes when I'm recording the gameplay for the podcast. And
also, feel free to send us topics to talk about so that we actually have somewhat of a direction.
Yes, directions aren't allowed.
And not one direction.
Exactly.
We want multiple.
We need more than one. We need many outlets. So Tristan
no matter how much.
So that way Tristan does not have an excuse to listen to the songs from that band.
Anime.
Anime.
Anime.